In today's video, we'll discuss how Jayson Tatum and Jalen Brown are the best duo in the NBA right now. But before we start, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. Now, without further ado, let's get started. The Boston Celtics are currently the best team in the NBA, and although they have great defenders and high-quality shooters all throughout the roster, they wouldn't be in this position without both Tatum and Brown. They are without a doubt the best duo in the league, and it's not even close. But to further explain how exactly they are the best duo, let's first dive into their game individually before explaining how they dominate together. Starting with Tatum's offense, he's shooting 48% from the field on 20 attempts, which ranks him 8th among all small forwards. But here's the thing. Tatum has way more attempts than any other player ahead of him, so the fact that he's 8th in percentage while taking twice as many shots as anyone else is just ridiculous. In the mid-range and post area, Tatum has become a nightmare to guard. The physicality he plays with now is so much different from years prior. And yes, a lot of it is mainly due to him being in the weight room and adding at least 10 to 15 pounds since he first came into the NBA, but a lot of it is just his mindset. Tatum is in the zone right now, and he doesn't think there's ever one player who can stop him, unless your name is Andrew Wiggins. But all jokes aside, we don't think even Wiggins could contain him at this moment. In the mid-range, he can rise above anyone else, similar to how Kevin Durant does it. And you might not realize it, but Durant and Tatum are almost the same height. KD's only really about 2 inches taller than him at most. So yeah, Tatum is an absolute giant on the court, and it's insane to watch how fluid and agile he's gotten, especially in the lane. Once Tatum gets in the lane, it's practically game over. And usually one of two things are going to happen. He's either going to make a highly contested layup or get fouled and go to the line where he's making 87% of his free throws on 8.5 attempts per game. Neither option is really that great for opposing teams. As we mentioned, his agility and footwork at his size is top-notch. And he's already mastered Euro steps and spin moves in traffic. It's now getting to a point where we just know defenders are getting frustrated guarding him. Because let's say a defender's actually defending Tatum pretty well on a drive, but then Tatum suddenly just uses his long stride to Euro step, and now he's right at the rim. And if a defender does actually stop him on the drive and force a pickup, Tatum rarely panics. He'll just simply rise up over you and drain the shot, and there isn't much you can do about it. Tatum's also shooting 65% from within 8 feet of the basket. It's a small sample size, but by the end of the season, we don't expect much of a drop-off. And when it comes to stepping out to the three, while he is shooting just 34.7% from beyond the arc, don't let the numbers fool you. He is a high-volume shooter who's attempting over 9.5 threes per game. And let's be honest, it doesn't matter if Tatum was shooting even 25% from three. No one is going to be foolish enough to leave him wide open. When Tatum gets hot, he'll drain deep shots all night long and drop 50 in a heartbeat. In one of his most recent games on November 28th, Tatum scored 35 points against the Charlotte Hornets. And while he did only shoot 28% from three this game, he did shoot 53% from the field, while also being a plus 45 when on the court. The final part of his offense is his playmaking. He's averaging 4.6 assists per game, which is second on his team behind their point guard Marcus Smart. This is because Tatum's IQ and feel for the game has skyrocketed this season, and he's now realizing that making the right reads and passes will not only benefit himself, but the team as well. He mentioned this in an interview, quote, "Just trusting that each guy's gonna make the right play, make the right read, and if you give the ball up in the right position, you're gonna get it back. We struggled with that at the beginning of last season," Tatum said. Honestly, we're just kind of building off the way that we were playing at the end of last season when we made the turnaround, and we've just kind of picked up from where we left off from that standpoint. It's all about making the right read, something that we watch film on, we practice all the time, but not necessarily just calling plays, but making the right read, everybody being on the same page. This comment from Tatum is scary for the rest of the league, because it's clear that the Celtics are now prioritizing ball movement and using their IQ rather than raw talent, which is similar to how the Warriors play, or at least used to play. You know what else is scary? Tatum's defense. Tatum is not only a scoring machine, but he's also one of the best wing defenders in the NBA. Tatum doesn't usually guard the opposing team's best player for a long time, nor does he have to. But when he does, he can lock up almost any scorer in the NBA. He's 6'10" with great lateral quickness, and he's getting better with knowing where to be on the defensive end. This is why he's averaging 1.2 blocks per game, which is more blocks than Giannis, Jokic, and even Jakob Poeltl. His defense is pretty similar to Ben Simmons, and given he has such a significant offensive role, it's incredible that he still puts in the effort on defense. Tatum's individual success is impressive, but this is of course the best duo in the NBA, so now it's time to focus on his partner in crime, Jaylen Brown. Jaylen's shooting 50% from the field on 19 attempts per game, which ranks him third among all shooting guards. Brown is one of the most elite finishers in the entire NBA, and as of late, we think he's starting to realize that as well. He is now aggressively attacking the basket in many different scenarios: off the catch, off the dribble, off the screen, and especially in transition. Jaylen's insane body control is one of the main reasons this is possible, and many might not realize that he weighs 220 pounds, so there aren't many guards in the NBA who are big enough and strong enough to keep him from the basket, and he is certainly taking advantage of that. Versus the Washington Wizards on November 27th, he scored 35 points on 13 for 23 from the field and 8 for 8 at the free throw line. He absolutely dominated the Wizards' defense. He was viciously attacking them with regularity. And it's not like the Wizards had a horrible defense either. They're ranked 6th in the NBA in blocks and 4th in the NBA in field goal percentage allowed. But just like Tatum, Brown is extremely agile in the paint, and the way he maneuvers around bodies is elite. While he is a little smaller than Tatum, he's faster, more slippery, and more explosive, which is a deadly combination. But what really makes his drive so effective is his improved ball handling. Last season, especially in the NBA Finals, his poor handles were getting exposed frequently. But now he's breaking down defenders with 1 or 2 moves, and as soon as he has a defender leaning one way, he quickly blows by them. On the defensive end, Brown is just as good as Tatum in that department. He has a textbook wide defensive stance, which allows him to stay on balance and stay in front of quicker players. His athleticism definitely shows on this side of the ball as well. It's hard to shake him, and even if you do, he has great recovery skills, and he'll be right back on your hip in a split second. So now that we've discussed how they operate individually, let's briefly go over how well they complement each other. But first, here's what Luka Doncic recently said about them both. Quote, "They're probably the #1 team in the league, and they probably have the best duo in the league too," Doncic said. "And when we're in the Garden, it's always a special game. You have to come 100%. If you're not, you're probably going to lose. It's a big game." Just watching their game, I think a lot of people can see that. I think the way they play, I know people try to separate them, but they fit together. They went to the finals last year, so I think those two are really great players. So yeah, if Luka Doncic saying that about Brown and Tatum doesn't convince you of just how good of a duo they are, we don't know what will. Just what makes them fit so perfectly. The answer to that is their play styles. Jaylen Brown is the more natural off-ball scorer. He's a good cutter, slasher off the catch, and good shooter off the catch. So whenever Tatum has the ball, it's rare that Brown will ever look lost. He's always moving more times than not or screening, which he and Tatum both are doing a lot of this season. Brown isn't really an elite first option, and yes, he can take over games throughout the season, but just him alone won't take you to the finals. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. He's like Chris Middleton to Giannis, or Paul George to Kawhi Leonard, a clear second fiddle. But without him, your chances of winning a title drop significantly. Another reason why they work so well together is chemistry, which they've slowly built over the years, and they both are aware that they are the top 2 dogs on the team. And if they want to get back to the finals, it will take a great effort from the both of them. It's no longer a one-man show like in years prior, where Tatum had tunnel vision and was very reluctant to trust his teammates and pass the rock. They're now on the same page with one goal in mind: win ball games. With Brown averaging 26, 6, and 3, and Tatum averaging 30, 7, and 4, they will certainly be doing a lot of that. What do you think? Are Tatum and Brown the best duo in the league right now? If not, we want to hear your favorite duo in the comments below. Did you enjoy this video? If so, you will surely enjoy the most recent videos on our channel, so subscribe to NBA Swish for more amazing NBA content just like this. Take care, and we'll see you in the next one.